Welcome back to Ozarks Fox AM on this crazy fun Monday. I'm having a blast with our guests. We're getting excited also for Beerfest coming up on April 2nd. And joining us now from Big Brothers and Big Sisters is Lizzie Vino and Susan Malentine.
Got it.
See, I wanted to say Valentine.
I know you did.
You know, it rolls off the tongue.
It happened.
Oh, it's great to see you. And you're here, too, because Price Cutter is one of our amazing sponsors, and we love them so much for doing this. So who wants to talk about what is Beerfest and how long it's been going on?
All right, so Ozarks Beerfest is it's just a taste, basically a tasting of over 200 different brews. We've got home brews, local brews, and from distributors. And it's just a time to get together and learn a little bit more about how, if you want to brew something on your own, or just a little bit more on how things get brewed. So it's really cool. We've got food there, we've got vendors, and it's just a great time for people to get together.
So are a lot of the local breweries participating? Because we're very blessed in the Ozarks to have a lot of breweries.
Yes, absolutely. And they are so excited. We have had to obviously take a hiatus for the last couple of years for something.
We forget about that. We gloss over that. We're like, moving on.
Right. So
I call that the leap years.
It's exactly. And so now we're very excited to bring it back to the Ozarks community. We've usually had it in the fall, but we've just decided to turn this into a spring event. And a lot of people are really excited to just get back into it.
Everybody's ready.
Uh-huh.
We've missed it, so we need it.
Yes.
Lizzie, tell us about the money raised and how it affects Big Brothers Big Sisters.
Absolutely. So all of the proceeds from Ozarks Beerfest go back to Big Brothers Big Sisters and fueling our mission to helping children in our community through our meaningful matches between bigs and littles.
How do you match? How do you match a big and a little? I've known a lot of people who are bigs. What is the process like? Because maybe somebody wants to, but they're afraid, like it's a huge complicated interview process, or how does it work?
Yeah, no, so you start with an info session, just kind of getting all the details. You need to understand, what kind of commitment that means. And then from there, you're interviewed, and the child is also interviewed. And from there, our match specialists will work together to make very strategic matches based on the littles and the bigs' interests and hobbies, so that they can make sure that when they hang out, they can do things together that they both enjoy, and that relationship will last longer than the initial meeting. That's all we do,
Okay, I just thought of a question, and I'm sorry this is off the cuff, and I did not prep you for this before, because I'm honestly curious, because I didn't know how it works. Now, can you have a big brother with a little sister, or is it usually big brother, big sister, little sister? How does that work?
So yes, you can. We actually, for our community-based, where that's the general, you go out, you go hang out, in the community. It is big brother, little brother.
Okay.
But we also have site-based, which is more lunch buddies or future readiness, where we actually meet the student at the school, and so you can have a big sister with a little brother.
Oh, okay,
because
gotcha.
it's monitored,
Yes,
within the
yeah.
facility. So to keep our number one priority is child safety.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
so being able to make sure that is our number one priority. We can make safe matches by doing the site-based, having the gender mix there.
Yeah, I got you. I was just curious. You were talking about it just came to me. I've been doing these interviews for years with Big Brothers Big Sisters. Never asked that question before. So that's good to know. What also, when somebody signs up to be a big, you're making a big impact on this child's life. What is the time commitment? How many hours a week? What kind of activities would you suggest they do? Is it based on their interests?
It is based a lot on their interests, and how much time they spend together also has to do with if they're community-based or site-based. With the site-based, it's usually only once a week, and it's only for an hour, so you're just having lunch with the child. And then for community-based, it's once a month, right?
Well, it's 48 hours a month is what we ask.
48 hours a month. Okay.
So depending on what that looks like, some matches will meet twice a month, for several hours. Some will do it weekly for a couple hours. I can tell you from most of the bigs, they plan on spending a couple hours with them, and then ends up being longer, because it's just, once they start connecting and creating that relationship, it just continues.
Can I tell you a quick story? I had a friend she was a big sister to a little sister, and she had to move to St. Louis. And I'm telling you, the heartache she was having for having to move because of her little, it was almost like her niece, and leaving a family member. It was traumatic because you do get so attached to your little.
Yes.
Really
And that has to happen a lot where you just like, you feel like family.
It is. That's just what we want it to evolve to. And it's just a natural, and our match support specialists do such an amazing job making that connection and the foundation based off of just some general interests, you know, common personalities, that kind of stuff. And then it just evolves just by spending, again, just time together. That's all it is. And you talk about activities, it could be anything. But
Okay, so before we run out of time, if somebody wants to sign up to be a big, how do they do that?
I just go to bigbro.com and fill out I want to be a big, and we'll give you a call and start from
And
there.
that's not Big Brother, the TV show. That's, don't get confused, guys. And, and then, Lizzie, what about Beerfest? It's coming April 2nd. Yes. All the proceeds benefiting. Tell us a little bit more. Can you get tickets in advance? You have to get them at the door?
Absolutely. So you can buy your tickets at OzarksBeerfest.com. If you want a general admission, it's $30 in advance or $40 at the door. And if you want a VIP ticket, you're going to have to get that ahead of time on our website for $60.
Guys, thank you so much.
Can I add in there a special thanks to Price Cutter. You can actually get general admission tickets for $25 at any of their stores, and that's the only place you'll get that special price.
So head to Price Cutter, not only for great groceries and great service, but for a great deal on Beerfest.
Absolutely.
Guys, thank you so much. Susan, Lizzie McGuire, you're just I had to throw that in. Hey, don't go anywhere. So much more fun after this. Look how I threw that in.
I love it.
Lizzie
Thank
Vino.
you.
It's Lizzie Vino. I'm just kidding. I had to throw it in just one little time.
Perfect.